he'd certainly be investigated and charged. Cruz is not above the law. If somebody dies as a result of a robo-taxi blockage of an ambulance, then there should be investigation.
Cruz has reportedly said its cars did not block the ambulance. The district attorney has not yet commented about the accusation or the demand for charges.
Prosecute Cruz now. Prosecute Cruz now. My name is Steve Zeltzer, and I'm with the United Front Committee for a Labor Party. I'm a journalist, and I produce Workweek Radio on KPOO in San Francisco. And the reason we're having this press conference here today in front of Brook Jenkins, District Attorney's Office, a District Attorney, is that we're demanding that she investigate and prosecute GM Cruise robo-taxi company. And what happened on August the 14th last month is that two Cruise robo-taxis actually blocked an ambulance from picking up an injured pedestrian. And that pedestrian died as a result of not having prompt treatment from the ambulance. And what we're saying is this has to be a lesson about the danger of robo-taxis, because if you or I had blocked an ambulance, we would be arrested for manslaughter. We'd certainly be investigated and charged, probably with manslaughter. And we're saying that Brook Jenkins has a responsibility to investigate Cruz. Cruz is only giving the videos to some stations. They're not providing the full information. And that's unacceptable. Cruz is not above the law. If somebody dies as a result of a robo-taxi blockage of an ambulance, then there should be an investigation. She refused to do that, Brook Jenkins. So we're saying that there needs to be an investigation and prosecution of Cruz executives. The CEOs and the executives of Cruz, in our view, have blood on their hands. They don't care if somebody's killed. They don't care if somebody's injured. They're going to develop this technology. So what is behind what's going on in San Francisco with the robo-taxis and also Waymo, which is owned by Google? What's going on is this technology is being introduced and billions of dollars are being spent on autonomous vehicles so that they can test their algorithms. That's what this is all about. And they want to test their algorithms on the people of San Francisco and use us as guinea pigs to test their technology. We say that that's unacceptable. And we're saying, furthermore, if there was an earthquake in San Francisco, these cars would all stop. We had an incident in North Beach where 10 of the cars stopped in the middle of the street, blocking the road. This technology is being developed on the backs of the people of San Francisco. We think it's irresponsible. We also are demanding that the police impound these robo-taxis, because every day they violate the vehicular code. Every day they violate the vehicular code. Now, if you and I violate the vehicular code and a police officer sees us, we'll get ticketed and we may get arrested if we stop in the middle of the street. And certainly our car would be impounded if we stopped in the middle of the street. Yet these companies are able to get away with running these autonomous cars without following the law. So the Department of Motor Vehicles is not enforcing the law. The California Public Utility Commission is not enforcing law. In fact, the California Public Utility Commission was not even getting all the records from these companies, Cruise and Waymo, about their technology. Now, why would the California Public Utility Commission and the Department of Motor Vehicles not have the information of what these companies' tests are doing? Real question. And the reason is because the tech billionaires, Google and these billionaires, run the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, run the mayor of San Francisco, London Breed. There was a rally yesterday of Teamsters of California have a bill, AB 316, which we're supporting, which says if you have a truck which is over 10,000 pounds, there should be a driver. There should be a driver. That seems like common sense, but apparently Gavin Newsom, who really represents the tech billionaires, said he's not going to sign the bill. We find that an outrage. What does that mean to say to the people of California, we're going to allow a 10,000 pound truck to be on the road without a driver, and we're going to trust these companies to do right? Now, these companies are interested in profit. That's what's driving the development of this technology. And the profit is for the purpose of replacing workers. They're going to make money, as they are trying to replace actors and actresses and writers. And journalists, my union as well, is concerned about the use of AI to replace journalists. So this is an issue for millions of people. And today, right now, there's a strike of UAW workers at Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. Now, this strike, part of the demand of the strikers is 32-hour work week for 40 hours pay, because the robotics and AI is being brought into factories, and they're going to lose 30 to 40% of their members. This is a mass layoff. Unless they're protected, they will be destroyed. A large number of workers will lose their job. So what we're saying is we support the UAW strikers. We think that their struggle is important not just for auto workers, it's important for all workers. And we have to say that Goldman Sachs has said that 350 million workers may lose their job all over the world. It's not just an American issue, it's a global issue. Where are these workers going to go? As was said yesterday by the Teamsters, if they get rid of the taxi cab drivers in San Francisco, if they get rid of Uber, Lyft drivers, a lot of these people may end up homeless. So they're complaining about homeless. They want to spend more money on police and kicking homeless people off the streets, but they're going to introduce technology to make more homeless. It's completely irrational, and what it means is they represent the billionaires, and this district attorney is not doing her job. Unless she's investigating and prosecuting Cruise for what they did, GM Cruise, she's not doing her job. So this is going to be the first action that we're going to have at her office. There are going to be others. And also on September the 30th, we are having a United UAW support rally at Cruise GM, 530 10th Street at Bryant. We're going to be bringing workers from Tesla, from other factories and other places to that rally, because this is a working class issue. It's not just about taxi drivers. It's not just about actors and actresses and writers. And it's not just about the UAW. It's about all of us. What kind of future we're going to have? And as I said, we're in favor of technology. We believe in technology. The question is, who should technology benefit? Should it benefit the working people and the public, or should it benefit the billionaires? That is the question we face. And we're demanding today, Brook, Jenkins, do your job, investigate and prosecute GM Cruise for manslaughter. And if you don't do that, you're responsible. Our next speaker is Edward Escobar. He's with Alliance for Independent Workers. Welcome, Edward. We're going to invite up Sergio to speak on this issue of technology and workers. So welcome, Sergio.
This is going to be like a Spanglish. La razón que estamos aquí es porque estamos en contra de todo lo que de los robotaxis que está afectando a San Francisco. Nos están utilizando como ratones de laboratorio aquí en la ciudad, y no están pensando on the community. They only think about the billionaires spending money to support more the technology, but the technology, they are not using it for the rights in here. They're affecting the workers. How many people are going to be out of work over taxis, Lyft? How are they going to be feeding their families if these robo-taxis is accepted in here? We shouldn't support that. The attorney of the district, she's covered a lot of people for not be pursued on the en todos los my English, I'm sorry. En todos los homicidios que han hecho, ella los encubre para que no sean enjuiciados justa y correctamente. Ella debería trabajar y enfocarse en servir en la vida de los trabajadores. Todos somos trabajadores, no importa qué tipo de trabajo hacemos. We are workers in here. Doesn't matter what kind of type of work you're doing. We are workers. We have families to feed. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio. So this is a community issue for the people of San Francisco and all working people. So our next speaker is Edward Escobar. He's with Alliance for Independent Workers.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Edward Escobar. I'm the founder of the Alliance for Independent Workers, the hashtag Drivers Unite movement. Why are we here today? And why is not many people here supporting this action? Why? Because they're afraid. They're afraid to go up against San Francisco. But we're not afraid to do that. We're not afraid to go after the Goliaths, the tech titans of Silicon Valley, the GM Cruise. These are multi-billion-dollar, multinational corporations that are looking at exploiting workers. They're looking at displacing workers, which is even worse. People think that this is going to be like the Industrial Revolution, where you have a chance to be retrained and reskilled, where there's not going to be another job to retrain and reskill someone to. And that's a problem that we're looking at. Permanent displacement. In California alone, a UC Berkeley studies states that 600,000 plus transport workers are going to be permanently displaced. Across the country, if you combine passenger, delivery, and also independent truckers, and truckers in general, you're looking at a good close to 8 million drivers just in that sector alone. So we're talking about a lot of people. GM Cruise does not want to acknowledge their responsibility in this displacement. Google Waymo does not want to acknowledge their responsibility in this displacement. Why? You have to ask yourself why. Because if they acknowledge it, then they're responsible. Because they are disruptors, people. They're disrupting. And we need to disrupt the disruptors. And we need to stand together as we're doing here today and call out Brook Jenkins, the district attorney for San Francisco County, and tell her that she needs to do her job. She cannot allow the tech titans of Silicon Valley, the GM Cruise, the Google Waymo to ride roughshod over society. We're looking at the human costs, the social costs. There's an ethical dilemma as to the responsibility, the liability when these vehicles do damage to society. This person who was a pedestrian, who was being rushed to the hospital after he was gravely injured. Cruise, they did provide some downtime for emergency vehicles to exit the scene. Every minute, every second is crucial to the life of a person. Could have been saved. But the point is that if you or I did something like that, we blocked an emergency vehicle, we would be held liable and responsible, not just civilly, criminally as well. So if it's criminal, that's the job of the county DA. San Francisco County DA Brook Jenkins needs to do her job and prosecute manslaughter against big tech. Big tech does not control this city. Let's send them a powerful message. We have allowed this to go on since Mayor Ed Lee. They've ridden roughshod with Uber. I'm a professional driver. I've seen the suffering of displacement, the privatization of public transportation, people. That's where this is headed. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Yeah, there's going to be displacement. There's going to be homeless. But beyond that, there's going to be suicides. Because there's not going to be a purpose for these people to exist. If they've driven all their lives and you tell them, hey, just get another job. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. And there's no one there to help with the safety net. So what is the human cost, the social cost? That's why we're here today. And we're calling out the San Francisco County DA, Brook Jenkins, and telling her to prosecute these tech titans. Because we're looking at this ethical dilemma. Who's liable? Who's going to be held responsible for this? AI, is it sentient? Does it have feelings? Well, they're claiming it does. They're saying that we are treating them unfairly. And we're not giving them a fair chance to prove themselves. Well, the San Francisco fire chief said it is not ready for prime time. The police have said also it is not ready for prime time. The city of San Francisco spokesperson said the same thing. It is not ready for prime time. And yet, you have the CPUC that rides roughshod. And then they disavow any responsibility. They say it's not our job. They say talk to the DMV. Talk to the TSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. They're supposed to control that. No, everyone is responsible in this, people. So we all need to stand together and say that's not going to happen in our name. We're calling it out now because this is an issue that's going to duplicate, replicate. This is going to multiply many times over exponentially. Cruise is already pushing this technology out to other major cities in Seattle, Phoenix, Austin, the Carolinas. They're doing this so they could get traction and get ahead of the regulators. So we have to call them out now and hold them accountable. Otherwise, there is going to be no future of work. Because they promise, tech always comes in and promises a better future, a better future. But a better future for who? For us or for them? And we have to look at the fact that we stand here today. We're not against tech, but we are against tech that benefits the few at the expense of the many. That we are standing here and saying to everyone, we need to stand together in solidarity. I'm Edward Escobar, the founder of the Alliance for Independent Workers, #Drivers Unite. Thank you very much.
The other question we have to ask is what's going on. At the rally yesterday, I asked the head of the California AFL-CIO about what's going on with the California Public Utility Commission and also what's going on with the Department of Motor Vehicles. Why are they not enforcing the law? And what she said is they introduced this Bill 316 because they're not enforcing the law. She wouldn't say why. Well, the reason is that these boards, the California Public Utility Commission, are corrupt. They're controlled by Gavin Newsom, and Gavin Newsom gets money from these tech companies. So what we're saying is the corruption that's going on in San Francisco, the corruption that's going on in California, has meant that they're not enforcing the laws that exist. We don't have to pass new laws. All we have to do is enforce the laws we have, but they're refusing to do that. I call that malfeasance. I think that they should be recalled. I mean, if these agencies should be impeached, and the legislature has gone along with this. The legislature could call hearings on what's happening with robo-taxis. The California Public Utility Commission has no rule that says they have to examine what are the social costs of the introduction of technology. In Sweden, for example, they have a law that you have to investigate what the effect of technology is going to be on labor, on the workers. Here in the United States, it's like the wild, wild west. Just introduce it. One of the things that happened in the United States as a result of the fact that there's no regulations on the effect of workers is they introduced the scanners. I mean, do people remember scanners in those supermarkets? The scanners meant that people got carpal tunnel syndrome on their hands. Millions of workers at grocery stores got carpal tunnel syndrome. That was avoided in Sweden by the fact that they investigated it. There's no investigation here in San Francisco and in California about the effect of AI and what that's going to mean to the working class. That's why politically we need a Labor Party. We need a working class political alternative, because all we have in San Francisco and in California is a Democratic Party. They control the city of San Francisco, the supervisors, they control the legislature in San Francisco, and they also control the executive, Gavin Newsom. So politically, what choice do we have? That's why no one's raising a question. This bill, by the way, AB 316, is actually supported not just by Democrats, but by Republicans. A Republican assemblyman who's a former highway patrolman said that he was worried that this technology would threaten the highways, having 10,000-pound trucks, robo trucks going on the highway. So it was a bipartisan bill that was introduced, and yet Gavin Newsom says he's going to veto the bill. And we find that an outrage, what Governor Newsom and Mayor London Breed is doing. And we're saying that that has to change. We have to make that change. And we have to say to London Breed and to Brook, Jenkins, you've got to stop this. And also we have here an artist, Andy Knight, who is a muralist, famous muralist, who's done a mural about what these cars are doing. These cars are killing people. These cars are killing drivers. For example, Tesla. Let's talk about Elon Musk. Elon Musk, Tesla, he uses autopilot. He's allowed autopilot to be used. And this, as a matter of fact, is another example. They put this autopilot on, and pedestrians are being killed, drivers are being killed, and they're running over people in all over the world where these cars are. We're saying it's an outrage that they're allowing this technology to be used without any protection. And Elon Musk believes he's above the law. The Tesla workers want to produce a good car, but why should they be using autopilot when it's still being tested? He's using the people of California and the people of the world as guinea pigs to test his autonomous cars. We're saying again, it's out of control. Elon Musk apparently, his vehicles can kill people with the technology, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So we're saying that this has got to end. We've got to have really protection of the people of San Francisco, protection of the workers, protection of the public, and it's going to get much worse. Somebody else is going to be killed in San Francisco. Somebody's going to die because these cars are going to kill somebody again. And what we're saying is, if they kill again, Brook Jenkins has blood on her hands. That's what we're saying. If one of these cars, a Cruise or a Waymo, kills somebody in San Francisco, Brook Jenkins, has blood on her hands because she's not putting her foot down. She's allowing them to get away with violating the laws and threatening the people of San Francisco. That's what we're talking about here. It's got to end. We know somebody's going to get killed. Somebody's going to get killed by these robo-taxis. What do you do when they kill you? What do you do for your family? It's just a robo-taxi. They're above the law. No one's responsible. That's what's going on here, and that's dangerous. That has to end. Technology cannot be above human lives. Technology cannot just be for profit. What we're saying is technology should be for working people. It should be for the public. That is what we're demanding here. And again, this is not going to be the end for Brook Jenkins. Brook Jenkins knows what's going on. Brook Jenkins is refusing to investigate Cruz. She could get those tapes from the car. She could do an investigation. She's refusing to do it. Why is Brook Jenkins, a district attorney, refusing to investigate Cruz after this incident? Look, the firefighters said that the ambulance was blocked for 30 minutes, and we're saying, why is there no investigation?
I'm Andrew Kong Knight. I'm a Bay Area artist. Went to school in San Francisco, art school, the Art Institute. And I feel that my city is in danger here. And I did a painting there of a dog when Waymo ran over a dog. Of course, they blame the dog. We don't know. They're not going to do investigation on the dog that was killed. But it was only a matter of time. We were at the rally just before they voted to release more of these AI taxis. And then we know that just as the fire chief of San Francisco said, there's going to be people getting injured. And before long, just took about a month later after the dog was killed, that we have fire personnel being injured. And of course, the person that was on their way to the hospital being delayed. I was just delayed on the way over here by the Cruise in front of their headquarters. They were blocking because it was trying to make a turn. So this is from my hometown is Hayward. I grew up in Hayward, and there was a guy killed near Hayward in Fremont a few months ago, and this is from the AI mode of the Tesla. So on this piece I call Death by Autopilot. So we had somebody, they usually don't see them at night, motorcycles. I ride a motorcycle, I also bicycle. So they're often killed by the autopilot mode, which, we're trying to get the word out. Hey, don't, the autopilot, it's not what it is advertising, and it has meant deaths. So on the other side, if you guys flip it on the other side, Steve was talking about, these richest, this is the second richest guy on the planet, and yet not taking care of the children down below of this spaceship up to Mars here. You can see that there's people down there that have to dig the carbon and the lithium, and they're not being responsible. These big companies are not being responsible for their bread and butter, who brings them to these level of riches. So that's what I'm showing in the painting. I'm showing how he's not taking care of the workers, and it's again the profits over safety. And it's obvious there's something going on. I mirrored this after my childhood dog. I thought, boy, if my dog was killed by an AI taxi, what I would feel. So this is a tribute to the dog that was killed by the Waymo. And on the other side, this one I call Not in My City. And again, I feel a kinship. I love San Francisco. I know that AI taxis and AR cars are going to be the future, but right now it's obvious what's going on. And in this painting, I've highlighted exactly what the reason for these being released. If you see these guys in the center, he really should have recused himself, but that John Reynolds, I believe is his name, that was a lawyer, right here, lawyer for Cruz, he should have recused himself from voting, and the voting was like 3-2, something like that. And he worked for Cruz, and how should he be allowed to decide that this company should release these vehicles? And well, there's the story. Gavin Newsom appointed him. Gavin's getting, I think it was $10 million from 10 to 20, something like that, of millions of dollars from Google. Then you understand, well, that's why the mayor, and that's why Gavin Newsom, that's why the DA here, they're not listening to the fire chief. There must be something going on. It doesn't take much little research to see that this again is about profits and not about safety. And I'm here, I'm not paid by anybody. I just did these paintings out of my love for San Francisco. And as an artist, we're traditionally artists, we're the shamans, we're the truth tellers, we're the little jesters that can tell the king what's going on, because we're just the happy-go-lucky guys. But I believe as an artist that we're supposed to paint the truth. And I've tried to paint it as clearly as I could what's going on here in San Francisco, my beloved city. So this is called Not in My City. It shows the fire personnel. They're literally getting blocked, the water from putting out the fire. These vehicles are very hard to put out, being electric batteries. That's one of the hazards. We have the benefits of electric cars, but we're here to also say the warnings. And then that's why the fire people not only don't like them because they have to bust into them to get them to move, but they have a hard time putting out the fires of these vehicles. So this is showing what's happening, and it seems to be escalating. It shows the policemen next to a skateboarder there on the bottom, back to back. The people of San Francisco, I like to think of myself as an artist of the people, and the people of San Francisco do not want these vehicles. It hurts the worker. If at all we could delay the release of these huge companies that really don't need that money, we could have other players, and we can not make this be a monopoly. So that's why I'm here today.
Prosecute Cruz now.